Do you ever get starstruck?
I never have, oddly.
Not with one person.
No, and I
Good for you.
I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking in work environments though. I think outside of work, I probably have been.
Like who?
I don't know. I met Brad Pitt a couple times, and he's super nice dude.
He is. I met him once. Cool.
But I was a little starstruck by him.
Yeah.
There's a little vibe about him that's like
cooler than cool.
Cool. Yeah. I want him to like me.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
I think there's that.
Yeah.
I was never the cool guy. So it's like when you're hanging out with a cool guy, it's like, hey, I'm hanging out with a cool guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, in terms of work, like, I don't know. I mean, I worked early with a lot of like really big name people, and like from Jack Nicholson to Chris Walken, Sharon Stone at her height.
Was Nicholson cool?
The coolest.
He wasn't that, were you starstruck from him?
No, I wasn't, but I was focused on the work.
Did he talk to you like on the outside?
We had scenes that were cut out of that movie that were really funny that he and I had. And
did you ever get those scenes?
I did.
You did?
I only about 6 weeks ago digitized them, and first time I've seen them.
Awesome.
They're wild. I do not see it in the movie.
What happens in the scene?
Well, the initial ending was them coming to the gist of my part in the movie is I get, Greg Kinnear beat up trying
You're
to
a
rob his
transvestite or
place.
something? Or
no,
gay?
I was a hustler, street hustler.
Oh, you're a street hustler.
In New York. And he and I, have this relationship that develops. He's painting me, but more develops. And then I get him rolled, allow my friends to come in, Jamie Kennedy being one of them.
Yeah.
And anyway, so the initial ending was them coming out onto the street, and they send Jack out to ask me for a blowjob to lure me back to the car to apprehend me, which happens. And that's this one scene. And
well, I was wondering if you give me a beager.
It was he was like, I'd like to purchase a blowjob.
Is that what he said?
And
like to purchase a blowjob.
Yeah. But he was amazing. He was, he was really incredible. And Faye Dunaway, I worked with.
Was she a monster? Because I hear monster.
She was not on our, this was Kevin Spacey's directorial debut, and she was the only female in the cast.
And she was cool.
She was very cool.
Was she late?
I don't remember her being late, but she took, it took hours of makeup and, and she's an old school pro, walking her marks with a mirror, checking the lighting,
Did she ever talk about Betty Davis, how she hated her?
I don't
Did she ever
remember
bring that
her
up?
They
They loathed each other.
I do remember that now that you mentioned that, but
he's like, well, she's completely unprofessional. And she's not English, by the way. I don't know what the fuck, but that's so cool. I mean, getting to work with all these actors at a young age.
Yeah, I think, fortunately I was focused on, the work and not getting sort of starstruck by them. And now in hindsight, I'm like, I look back and I'm like, oh man, I got to work with some really, really cool movie stars.
Yeah. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah.
And I have too. I'm like, I look at him like, I worked with Clint. He directed my first movie.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And, Forrest Whitaker. I had a scene with Forrest Whitaker. I'm like, holy shit, man. This is
one of the
dope.
best
Bruce
ever.
Campbell, Evil Dead movie. Like,
yeah.
Like, so it's just like, it's just amazing. Sometimes you really have to, it's important to sort of look at everything from the outside in.
Yeah.
And just take a deep breath and go, hey man, this is cool.
Yeah, the
you
gratitude is big.
Do you say your gratitudes? Do you?
I don't. I feel them in general. I've definitely gone through over the last year, of trying to instill a gratitude practice, if you will. Yeah. But I feel like, and now especially not drinking, like it just happens naturally. I don't journal it or but I note things in the day and take a general sense of goodness from them.
Yeah, I feel like you're that. I feel like you're one of the most present guys I know.
Oh,
just because you. I look at you can show me pictures of your garden and what you're planning and doing work on the house and your kids and it just seems like, you don't wait for work. I mean, you obviously wait for it, but while you're waiting in the interim, you are living your life.
Yeah.
the best you can and doing fun things
Yeah.
and taking care of yourself.